talking about.
We're just casuals.
Start the music.
This is Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine readers voted #1 talk radio show in Arizona.
#1 during your morning commute.
#1 whenever news breaks during your day.
And #1 whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is the Monty Show. Hell yeah, it's Friday.
Finally.
It feels like Friday of next year. This has been a long, long week, especially if you're a Utah Jazz fan. Hi. Good to be here. I see everybody in already.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I just need to acknowledge the second comment of the show. Wasn't going to miss this one.
Eric C.
First of all, what the hell does that mean? Second of all, you're damn right.
It means that Luke Voigt is taking people out for the Padres because Eric C. lives in San Diego. What it also means is that you need to subscribe to this channel, folks, friends, neighbors.
People,
you have been amazing. We have told you about the meteoric erecting rise.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 3,927 subscribers. Just crushing it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit subscribe. We are giving away a PS5 at 5,000 subs. That's not that far away. Trust me. I know it seems like a lot, but indeed it is not. You're looking at like a month. And then we're giving away another PS5. This will be the third one we've given away.
Bro, we've given away so much on this show.
I'm telling you, you guys support the show, we give away prizes. It's that simple. Make sure you shop the affiliate links, which are below. All of you people buying this kitchen sink, blender bottle, sport cup
thing,
scrubber thing,
item.
You should check it out because the thing's amazing. I'm telling you, it changes the way you scrub out crustified old protein powder from your shaker cups.
Yeah.
It's all in the affiliate links. Hook it up below if you're listening on podcast. Bless you, friends. Welcome to all of our friends on Apple, Spotify, iHeartMedia, certainly our friends at Stitcher Radio. God bless you. And also you. But anyway, the point is, thanks for listening to the show. And without further ado...
Okay. Before we jump into the conversation,
before we hit the panic button,
no, it's already been lit on fire in the Could you just read like 2 comments so far because I can see it lighting up?
Lewis Selder says, "So sad after the game. I hope we pull it out tomorrow. Don't pull it out tomorrow. That's a crime in most counties." Edgar Garcia. It was
it's stuff. Okay.
Edgar Garcia says, "When you guys going to talk about the Jazz, please refer to them as the casuals, those fools."
Yeah.
Holy fuge, this Jazz team is giving me migraines. Bryce Jensen says, "Quin Snyder solved the world's hunger by putting in Pascal."
Well.
Okay. Well, I mean, you guys are amazing. And then there's Izuku Gaming who says hello. Hi.
Okay.
Good to see you. The Utah Jazz went down in a blaze of really bad defense last night. And it's amazing to me, and it probably shouldn't be, but it is amazing to me that so many Jazz fans want to point the finger at Donovan Mitchell for a lack of defense. And the thing that concerns me most about this team is that as a team, they lack cohesiveness and chemistry on defense. How much of this problem, and let's just head straight for it.
Yeah.
How much of this problem that we are seeing with the Utah Jazz relates to Donovan Mitchell?
I don't think the whole problem, or maybe even half the problem, relates to Donovan specifically. I think where I come down with the Donovan dynamic in the whole situation is that because he's Donovan Mitchell, because he's the leader of your team, he is the one that is responsible for trying to bring these guys together. He is the one that is responsible for making sure that you win Game 3 at home, your first home game of the playoffs. You know, he's that guy that is supposed to lead you into battle and is supposed to get you to go where you want to go on the floor. And I think that, honestly, that is what he's responsible for. But I don't think he's responsible for the lack of rotation defensively. I don't think he's responsible for, the several times last night where Rudy doesn't come over to help. I do think Don specifically is responsible for Jalen Brunson blowing right by him several times. I do think he's responsible for allowing Jalen Brunson to body him in the paint several times. So on an individual level, yeah, he's responsible for his matchup, but I don't think we should sit here and crucify Don for their lack of team defense, because he's one guy and there's 5 guys on the floor. And I think this whole situation is once again, unfortunately, as we've been saying for, I feel like years at this point, is a product of the roster. And I know that that's a dead horse. I know that we talk about it constantly, but what else is there? That is the situation. That is the honest to goodness reality of the situation. You have a dynamic last night, and we're going to dive into this in a minute real deep, but you have a dynamic last night where Eric Paschall comes in. Rudy and Hassan are on the bench. They play small ball. They start seeing success. They start understanding, okay, well, we're going to see some success. And that success, the trade-off of that success is that the rim is less protected because we don't have a big in the game. But at that time in the game, they needed offense, not defense. So it's this whole situation where everyone came out of this game, I feel like, talking about that Don sucked and he didn't have a good game and his defense sucks and he's like the scapegoat of the whole situation. But what I'm telling you is the whole situation could be improved by 1 or 2 players if they would have done something earlier in the year. But they didn't, and now you're paying the price for that. And I think that, when you look at this Mavericks team, they went out and got Reggie Bullock, right? They went out and found someone like Jalen Brunson. They found these guys to backstock their roster. So now they can withstand a Luka injury. And not only can they withstand
traded
it,
Kristaps Porzingis.
Bro, not only can they withstand the Luka injury, they're playing good without Luka. He will not return in game 4 because why would you? So this is my point. It's the ultimate contrast between rosters. You have one team in Dallas who made moves, who made the tough decision at the deadline to go and get something done. And they got Dinwiddie, and he contributed last night. You have another team in the Utah Jazz that did nothing. They did nothing. They sent Joe out for a rack of basketballs in a pick or whatever. And now you're paying the price for that. And that ultimately is what I think was on like full display last night.
I am amazed at some of the vitriol for Donovan Mitchell. I don't get that. But I think finally last night we saw where Quin Snyder took Rudy Gobert off the floor. And I think you saw a much more productive stretch of minutes from Eric Paschall, because what you see when Rudy's off the floor and Hassan Whiteside's off the floor and they go with that ultra small lineup is you see a lot more athletic ability and you see a lot more ability to shut the 3-ball off. I'd rather give up layups at the rim than 3 balls wide open all day long. Mm-hmm. Like, does anybody even contest that?
No.
Does anybody even argue with that?
No, I think in the playoffs specifically, that is the only choice. I don't think it's even a conversation. Hey, you've got a couple of 2s at the rim or a couple of 3s from the corner. Well, of course you're going to take a couple of 2s. Of course.
Yeah. Dylan on Twitter says, I'd like to try hanging on to this roster as much as possible and try a coaching change. Maybe switch out some of our role guys for a perimeter defender. Then if that fails, go for a full rebuild. So you want to spend another year in this situation. That's amazing. So just asking the question, who's at fault? Immediately, the first thing we hear is, well, I don't want a full roster rebuild. I don't know what you're hanging on to. And this, I guess, is my question. What do you think you're going to be able to get if you hang on to most of this roster again? What are you going to be able to get? You're seeing the end times of Mike Conley. You're seeing a guy who scored 0 points the other night. I think he had 21 last night. You're seeing inconsistent play from a guy that you paid the luxury tax for. You are bloated financially. A retool is not an option. It's just not an option. And you can have this conversation, and maybe we should. Does replacing Quin Snyder with any coach you want to replace him with, you pick the guy. Does replacing Quin Snyder with any other coach make this a better team?
I don't think so.
I don't believe that it does.
I don't think that Quinn has. I don't think that Quinn has a ton of options. Unfortunately, here's what I'll say about Quinn. I do think it's fair criticism to say, hey, we should have tried some different things in the regular season. Like we should have tried, we should have tried a small ball lineup. We should have played Pascal more. We should have gotten these guys more minutes so that they don't get exposed after 7 or 8 minutes on the floor. Okay, I'm open to that conversation, 100%. I think there's a lot there. I think that's a different show, but I agree with a lot of people who say that, hey, there was a lot of opportunity over the course of the regular season to play some of these bench guys more minutes. Totally agree. But I think what I'm not going to agree with is, hey, Quinn is the reason that this team is not going further. Quinn is the one hurdle that is preventing us from winning a playoff series or winning in the second round and getting to the Western Conference Finals ultimately. I can't agree with that. And the reason I can't agree with that is because he is so limited with the options he has before him. There's not a lot. There isn't a, hey, the Clippers did this with Terrence Mann. Here's my first option. This is what I should do no matter what from a basketball standpoint. He doesn't have that.
You asked him to make adjustments, and Quin Snyder is making adjustments.
I thought it was ballsy as hell what he did last night. I thought it was I thought it was warranted. I felt like, hey, let's get some space out on the floor, because that's ultimately. Because you were just talking about how, hey, when they went small ball, they played a lot better defense. The perimeter defense was better. They were able to contain Dallas more. And I think not only did you see that on defense, you saw much more breathing space offensively. And again, I'm going to say this. This is not a Rudy Gobert sucks conversation.
No.
Once again, this is not a Rudy Gobert is the worst player on the floor. Rudy shouldn't be on the floor. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is the instant, right away, the moment the ball's put back into play, when Rudy or Hassan goes to the bench and neither of them are on the floor, and the Jazz are running small ball, Donovan Mitchell's athleticism and playmaking ability comes to life. The Jazz immediately start getting the corner 3 back. The Jazz immediately start being able to get 2 feet in the paint every single possession. And that's what I think is so important that we talk about, because up to that point where Quinn made that adjustment, Don was struggling.
Yeah.
Don was having a bad game.
Yes.
Don had, I think he had like 5 points heading into the half or whatever. It was awful. And then he just goes off for a wave of offense once Rudy and Hassan are not on the floor. That's why I think it's warranted to talk about that adjustment. And I think those same people who criticize Quinn need to also give Quinn credit for having the balls to take those guys off the floor and try something different. Because up to that point, what they were doing was leading to a 15-point deficit that they had to climb out of.
Yeah, and I just don't know. You can replace Quin Snyder with the best coach in the NBA. I don't see what more other further deeper adjustments there are going to be made. I mean, he took a really bold step last night. I even tweeted that at the time. Quinn needs to show some courage and take Rudy off the floor.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And I applaud him for that, because you're paying that guy $41 million a year and you put him on the bench, and they played much better with him on the bench. And if you're not willing to recognize the space that was created by not having Hassan and Rudy in the game, that allowed Mike Conley, that allowed the other guys to get more active in the paint, that allowed Eric Pascal to turn off the corner 3 for the Dallas Mavericks, if you're not willing to recognize that when you take Rudy Gobert off the floor, this team is just faster. They can play at a faster pace. They can run more. That's what this team needs. When it's Rudy and Mike Conley on the floor, everybody falls in love with that lob and the alley-oop and, my God, the reverse dunk. And, hey, that's all well and good. You were losing that game no matter what if you didn't take Rudy off the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't know what more Quin Snyder can do. And again, I'm just asking, what is it you want him to do? What adjustments? If you say fire Quin Snyder, why specifically, and what moves is he not making that you think he should be making? Because I just don't think he's got that many that many weapons to fight with here.
Yeah, I think he went to the option that he had last night. I mean, I think if I'm Quin Snyder, the reality is I don't even love the small ball lineup I get to run out there. Like, I love Pascal. I've been an advocate for Pascal on this show. But I think, what you always say is, when you start playing guys longer minutes, they're going to get exposed. As you've said, the Houses, the Pascals,
Yes.
the Jared Butlers, even Royce, at times gets exposed when he plays too many minutes. So last night, when Quinn makes this tough decision and goes for it with Pascal in that small ball lineup, that was a calculated risk, which I feel like ultimately did work out. Now, you lose the game, but you made it really tight. I mean, that game was tight until probably, 50 seconds left when the Mavericks kind of put it away?
That Dinwiddie 3 pretty much ended the game, that crazy fall away. But you look at Daniel House, everybody was like, oh, man, you got to play him more and more and more. The 3 ball in the corner, he had 2 points last night.
Yeah.
He had 2 points. Now, having said that, I felt like he at the end of the first half, I'd not have Rudy on the floor. That's just my opinion. I mean, and sure, we can go back and forth about this, but I just don't think that this is a thing where you can say, hey, let's just leave the status quo and let's just do what we do. I just don't think you can do that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that, again, for the people who say, well, this is Quinn's fault, I'm not sure what other path he could have taken. When you look at the options he has, I'm not really sure there was another option last night besides what he went ahead and did, which was just trying to change. Because ultimately, what's the reason that you go small ball? Well, the reason you go small ball is to pick up pace and to create space. So that's what you get. Now, you lost the game. I agree. You lost the game. But I don't know what else you could have done. You did everything you could do.
Yeah, totally agree. And you know what? Like Scott Howard says, what do I want him to do? Try small ball with Gay and Pascal after you've given up. I don't know, about 6 open threes from guys who can only shoot open threes. Well, I think Kleber is a guy that can shoot open threes or contested threes. I mean, I think what you're seeing is the Klebas of the world are not what hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they're shooting open threes. It's that there's no communication on defense on switches that lead to the open three. It is Bojan Bogdanović not properly rotating, so that 3 is left open. That's what you're seeing. That's the frustrating part of it.
Yeah.
And when you play that small ball lineup, does Rudy Gay really fit into that small ball lineup? I don't know that he does. I think when you're trailing, it's always nice to have another 3-point shooter on the floor, but you're not shooting threes. You're not shooting threes at the level you were shooting threes. And I think Jason Kidd deserves a lot of credit for his adjustments. He has decided that he is going to push out to the 3-point line, and that's going to be the way that they win games here. That he is going to push that 3-point line, and he's going to force the Jazz to finish in the paint, which they have not been able to do on a regular basis. And you know what? I give Jason Kidd a lot of credit for that, because this Utah Jazz team thrives when they're making big threes and they're making fast break transition pull-up threes. I'll also give the Jazz credit. They turned off the fast break for Dallas last night. It was very clear that they were much more committed to getting back and stopping the break, and it worked. The other issue, though, is you couldn't stop Jalen Brunson to the point where Royce O'Neal decided that playing dirty basketball was the right way to go about that.
I'll drop that mother.
I think he tried to hurt Jalen Brunson last night.
Yeah.
I think with that shot at the end of the first half where Jalen got a technical foul, that was embarrassing basketball. That's not who this team is.
Yeah.
And yet that's what Royce O'Neal decided to turn himself into last night. And I think when you look at Hassan Whiteside forearming Maxi Kleber in the side of the head, no call. The Jazz, to me, got to a place last night that was very dark and dank, and there was some burned out buildings and boarded up windows in that neighborhood that they were wanting to play in last night.
Yeah.
Like it was a street fight for a minute.
Yep.
And Dallas persevered. And it did allow the Jazz to get some momentum. But what did all of that mean when you came out for the third quarter and they just kept shooting threes?
Yeah, I think that's a tough part, and that's why I think they went that. Or I'm not going to say they went that route. That's why I think Royce went that route. I think Royce O'Neal last night made a choice to go after Brunson because he knows they don't have anything behind Brunson, to his level. And I think Brunson did a great job of coming back in the second half and coming right at Royce immediately. I think it was inside the first 3 possessions. He gets that and one on Royce, and you could just tell that the answer was there. And I think that really is what Jason Kidd deserves the most credit for. This Dallas team is tough, man. This Dallas team knows how to fight through adversity. Like there were several times, like that third quarter, getting through the third quarter in the rush that the Jazz brought to them. I was impressed by that. Honestly, like you're on the road without your 2 best players because I think people are forgetting. Tim Hardaway Jr. is not playing. He's out. People are only focused on Luka. The Mavericks do not have their best 2 players on the floor. They just went on the road and beat you at your place. So this morning, I understand why Jazz fans would be upset. But at the same time, I think the Mavericks deserve a lot of credit for pushing through that adversity because the Viv is one of the toughest places to go and win playoff games. And I was just impressed. Honestly, I was just impressed by the ability to deal with adversity by them.
Jesus Christ destroys atheism. Says he could be using Eric Paschall and Walker much more. You really want to play Nickeil Alexander-Walker more right now?
I don't think he's earned it. I don't think he's earned it. I thought he had a couple of nice showings.
He had a couple of nice moments.
Yeah, he had a couple of nice.
He had a couple of nice moments. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, he had that one game where he hit like 78 threes in the corner, but let's not get carried away.
Donnie, please.
Yeah, relax, my friend. And like I don't want to play, and you want him to play with Nacho Belgrande more.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
Royce O'Neal, good point.
Excuse me.
What?
It's Buckets O Bench, please.
Thank you. But I think you're really making the argument that Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, those are the guys you're complaining he's not playing more. Those are 13, 14, 15th guys on any roster. And if you look at Juancho Belgrande, what is it that you got from him last night where you're like, man?
Yeah, what did he play? Like 5 minutes, maybe?
He played 6 minutes, 0 of 2 from the floor, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 assist.
Fucking A.
What did you get from him? What did you see in Hernan-Gomez where you're like, I've got to get more minutes there?
Yeah, the narrative on Hernan-Gomez is that he brings length to the floor and that he can help them small ball defensively.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And I don't. My thing with him is that while that in concept is nice, I think the execution of that is not nearly what the execution of Paschall is. I think. See, the trade-off with Paschall is that some nights he's not going to make any threes, and he's going to take threes, and he's going to miss them. Last night, he made most of his three-point attempts, brought you good energy, served his purpose. So, again, like in Game 4, what's the adjustment? Because, and I think this is an interesting parallel, too, what we're seeing in Golden State with Steph not starting. Now, coming back from injury, he probably could be starting now, but Steph being Steph, he's willing to sit a few games, come off the bench or whatever. Great. But I think what's important to understand about that situation and why it's so similar to the Jazz situation is because Rudy is getting paid the same level that a Steph Curry is getting paid. Rudy's contribution should be as impactful as someone like him based on how much he's getting paid. The only problem is it's not. And I think if you're Quin Snyder and you're looking around the league and you're trying to figure out, all right, what's my solution? I'm not suggesting that he should not start Rudy, but what I am suggesting is he needs to be much more aggressive with pulling Rudy off. Maybe instead of pulling him off at 7, let's pull him off at 8.5 or 9, and then bring him back to end the quarter, or like use him in defensive situations, but maybe he shouldn't be getting 35, 40 minutes a night. I don't know. But what I am telling you, simply put, no matter what the path is if you get bounced by the Mavericks in the first round without Luka and Tim Hardaway, this thing is like a raging forest fire, and people will be pissed.
I think he's making adjustments. I don't put this on
He
Quin
is.
Snyder. I think he's trying. I think that, again, like trying things like zone defenses. I think it's very difficult to ask guys at this time of the year to play zone defense. I think it's very difficult to say to guys, hey, we've done this all year, but fuck it, let's go play zone defense.
It's a playoff game.
You can't do that. If you want him to make changes, you're going to have to do better than Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think that's not the right way to go.
The change is not personnel. The change is strategy.
Yep. Jeremy Bolton, good morning to you. Morning, everyone. Anyone else still drinking from last night? Exactly. Jonathan Ponce said their bench beat us. Yeah. Yes, it did. I mean, when you're getting the volume of production from Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, gave you 4 3-pointers, 4 more from Kleber for 8 3-pointers. Like, you also, I thought, got a really important contribution from Josh Green. Not the 3 3-pointers he hit, but the passing, the basketball IQ,
the defense, bro.
The defense, the steals. Like, I thought he made a really big contribution last night. 3 boards, 6 dimes, 2 steals, 12 points. Like, and he did all that in 19 minutes.
And not turning it over.
That's huge. And you look at what you got from the Jazz bench. You got Jordan Clarkson, and that was really it. Eric Pascal gave you 10 minutes, 6 points. He hit a 3 and a rebound. I would love nothing more than to see a lot more of House and Bogey with Clarkson, Conley, and Mitchell. I think that lineup poses a lot of problems for defenses.
Yeah.
I think it creates a lot more space. I think you shoot a lot more threes. The frustrating part was Bogey got off to a really good start, and then starting to see that you are now finding places and you are beginning to understand that this club is going to struggle with Rudy Gobert being the center point of their offense, being the center point of this basketball team. And this roster is, Spencer Morgan, exactly. We need to acknowledge that some of the limitations on this roster is on Quinn. He blocked trades of Ingles and pushed for keeping Conley. I don't disagree with that. I don't. Luka is coming back in game 4 or 5. Jazz are doomed, Martin Blank says. I think it'll probably be when they go back to Dallas. Why would you play him? Why would you play him Saturday afternoon?
Zero incentive to play him Saturday.
Yeah, I just don't. Jeremy Bolton says, I think the most depressing part is that Dallas is still missing their best 3 players and are still taking the Jazz to the woodshed. Truth? True. Football Access said they need to speed up the Mavs. Stop playing half court. You got to play smaller ball to do that. Eric C. says time for Captain Quinn to walk the plank.
Listen, dude, all jokes aside, I think it's time for the whole roster to walk the plank, to be quite honest with you. Like, I don't think that if I was the Jazz, and I know you'll disagree with this, there wouldn't be anybody that I wouldn't have a conversation about. I think that I love Donovan Mitchell. I love his game and what we saw last night as soon as Rudy got off the floor. And I think he can be someone that you build around. But that does not mean that I'm not willing to have a conversation with somebody about him. And I think that this front office needs to take this ship and turn it around, because the problem is, whether you're in, and I've always said this, whether you're a lottery team and you've got the number 1 overall pick, or you're a team that gets into the postseason every year but doesn't win a damn thing, what's the real difference? Well, the only real difference is you're probably just selling more tickets. That's the only difference, honestly. Because if you're not winning a title or at least getting to the NBA Finals, what are you really doing? So to me, when I look at this roster, and they're fully healthy, nobody's out, nobody's having issues, and you're struggling to beat Dallas, because that's what I would say. I feel like most people thought the Jazz would dispatch Dallas in 5 games. That's what I think people thought was going to happen. And now you're down in this series, and you've lost at home. So if you lose this series, I would be lighting the phones up, and I'd have a conversation about anybody. And I think you have to put together a team that's much more balanced and not so heavy financially. Yeah,
I think that you're probably right. I mean, it is. I mean, there's probably no player that you wouldn't trade at this point. I mean, you've got to find some dirty dogs on defense. You've got to have a Jay Crowder, Alex Caruso type player.
Marcus Smart.
You've got to have a Marcus Smart who they tried to get at
Bridges.
the deadline. You've got to go and find that get dirty player who can shoot a three as well. I mean, Mikal Bridges would be, I mean, the ideal fit on this team. He's the kind of player you're lacking. A star caliber wing like that, that's what you're really lacking on this team. But you're also lacking that really critical contributor off the bench. You are lacking the guy that can come in and get dirty defensively. Somebody said Grayson Allen. I don't disagree with that mentality. I hate Grayson Allen.
But you'd love to have him on your team.
I guess. I mean, I want a guy that can play defense and shoot threes and do it at a high level. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this team needs, and they don't have right now. And I think every player's accountable for their shortcomings. I mean, you've got to stop. Donovan's got to get a lethal mid-range and play better defense. His footwork defensively is terrible. He has got to become a better defensive player. Rudy's got to grow as an offensive player. I think you're at Rudy's ceiling. I think the problem with this roster is most of these guys are at their ceiling. Jordan Clarkson, Donovan Mitchell, clearly there's growth in a couple of guys on this roster, but that's really it. Bogey is who he is. Royce O'Neal should be a 9th or 10th guy. He should certainly not be a starter in this league.
Yeah.
You just are who you are. And it's not – my question is, what is Quin Snyder with a better roster? What is Quin Snyder if Dorian Finney-Smith is in a Jazz uniform and not in a Mavs uniform?
Yeah.
What is Quin Snyder if he has that player, that kind of tenacity? If you hadn't missed on so many draft picks. And
what if Mike Conley is Jalen Brunson?
If he just had one more tool to work with.
Yes.
What would Quin Snyder be? If he had just one wing player to run with Donovan.
Yeah.
This wouldn't even be a conversation, but the roster is so limited. So now what do you do in game 4?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really interesting question because of what you saw with the small ball situation. And I think that, I think that you run more small ball out there, frankly, to be quite honest with you. I think that, whether you want to start Rudy or whatever, I think that he needs to not play more than 3 to 4 minutes to start the game. You need to take him out and you need to go small ball. And what I really think, from a coaching perspective through the game, you can't let Dallas get out to a 15-point lead. You just simply can't allow it. You have to call prompt timeouts. You got to have a short leash. Like, you're not in a position to play games anymore. You're not in a position to allow this team to play through adversity when they've shown no ability to do it. So, strategically, I'm getting real aggressive to start game 4. I'm saying, okay, we'll run our usual guys out there, but as soon as I feel like I need a boost, Rudy's coming off the floor, Pascal's coming in. Like I think you just take what you did well late in this game and you apply it early in the first half in game 4 and see what it gets you. Now, the side effect and the trade-off of that is obviously rim protection. So if you run the small ball lineup out there and Jason Kidd has an answer for that and let's say brings Kleba or something and they're just dominating the paint, all right, well, now you're going to have to make an adjustment off of that. But I really think that when it's a small ball situation, guys like Kleba are not a big deal defensively because you're running up and down. So he's not really going to be a problem for you. So that would be my mentality. Okay, we'll start the game how we usually do.
Right.
But as soon as the Mavs start building some momentum, I want to get that small ball going. And I think to your point, that roster or that lineup you were talking about where, you've got House, Bogey, JC, Don, and then
Conley.
And Conley. I think that lineup, particularly those guys together, can score at a really nice rate. The only downside of that is Bogey on defense. He can be had. So that's what I think you have to do going to game 4.
I just don't think that you can take all of your size out of that lineup. Bojan Bogdanović can give you 6-8 boards a night. You need that length and rebounding. If you're going to not have Bogey on the floor, you're going to play Pascal in that spot. I don't know that I just think at some point you can go too small.
Yeah.
Especially when they have Kleba out there and he rebounds really well. I think if it's Powell, you're fine with that because I think Dwight Powell is a very limited player. But this team had one offensive rebound last night, the Utah Jazz.
Yeah,
One.
that's going to have to improve.
One offensive rebound last night. It is.
Which is kind of shocking considering Rudy played his normal allotment of minutes. I'm not really sure. Like, I know he
played
a
29
game.
minutes. He played 29 minutes. I mean, 7 rebounds, 15 points.
How many minutes did Pascal actually play last night?
Just 10. He only
so
played
he plays
10 minutes.
10 minutes. And here's my point. So Pascal plays 10 minutes, and we're on the show this morning talking about the impact that he had on the game.
Oh, he is a bullet. I mean, the guy comes in and he gives you energy. He crashes the boards. He shoots threes.
Yeah,
he has no fear. Like that's what you love.
He's a dog coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's
dude.
what you love about Eric Pascal is that you just.
But I think again, it needs to be said, and we'll see it in Game 4. I guarantee he'll get close to 20 minutes in Game 4. I would be shocked if he was sub 10 minutes in Game 4. But again, we need to emphasize this: the more minutes he gets, when do the turnovers come? When do the 0 for 3, 0 for 4 3-point shot attempts come? Because that's ultimately the trade-off.
Yeah, and I agree with Spencer Morgan. I'm complaining Butler didn't play more during the season, but not suggesting he should play he is the playoff fix. I agree with that.
But
I agree with
the
that.
question has to be posed. What could Jared Butler be right now if he would have been groomed in the regular season?
Yeah.
What sort of option would he be?
That's the complaint you should have about Quin Snyder. What he's doing now is not the issue. It's that he didn't bring Jared Butler along during and not Quinn specifically. The front office and the developmental process did not bring Jared Butler along.
How many minutes did Trey Burke get last night for them?
I think 6, maybe 6. He played Trey Berserk. Trey Burke played 4 minutes last night.
So Trey Burke plays 4 minutes last night. Somebody who is younger-ish guy, but a veteran in the league now. And I ask about Trey Burke because I feel like Jared Butler is the Trey Burke of this team. He's somebody that if he'd have gotten more minutes, he could come in for 5-6 minutes at a time, give that stint, and then come right back out. But because he can play good defense, he can play with that energy, he fits into the small ball setup in this series. That's why I think it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because they're not going to get that. Like Davis Bertans.
He won't be that guy in Game 4.
The Maxi Kleba contribution is legit. I mean, the guy is a knockdown three-point shooter. Davis Bertans is so hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt he'll make 4 more threes the rest of the series. I mean, but if you're going to give him open looks.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem, though. Green created those looks.
He did with that run to the baseline and everybody collapsing. And, they were the hard part to digest here is they're a better defensive team on the perimeter without Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been talking about the entire season on this show is that you have to understand that. You have to embrace that. You have to embrace that Mike Conley is a very limited player at this point in his career.
Yeah.
He's played 15 years. He's probably a 20-minute-a-night guy. You look at Bojan Bogdanović. He's great in stretches, but he can't compete athletically.
Yeah.
You just don't have a guy, Hassan Whiteside, mentally just not fit. I mean, the guy cannot – he's elbowing Maxi Kleba in the face and not getting called for it. Like, that's what scares you. That's why you don't see more Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah.
Because you notice he does that, and then he doesn't play much after that because he just isn't in control of himself. The roster is the problem. Keeping this roster together was a mistake then, and it's a mistake now. And I think what you're seeing is that Donovan Mitchell's growth is being stunted by the group that's around him. That's just
I would agree with that.
I'll die on that hill.
I would agree with that.
And I think Donovan Mitchell is the epicenter of Jazz basketball, and you should do everything you can do to facilitate his growth. Period.
Yeah.
And I think you saw him blossom like a young flower on prom night when Rudy Gobert went off the floor. And you see him being much more active, being much more aggressive. That's what you need from Donovan Mitchell. And there's more space, there's more driving lanes, there's more passing lanes when Rudy's not on the floor.
Yes. Correct.
That's his That's as simple as I can say it, all right?
Yeah.
Let's read some comments. Enough of us, more of you. Make sure you shop our affiliate links in the description below. Hit subscribe. If you're here right now, please give us a like. We will give away, I promised in the comments yesterday I would do it. Roy asked for a T-shirt yesterday. You can't just ask for a T-shirt and then say, oh, well, I'll send you a T-shirt. Who do you think you are, Greg Hawkins?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come on.
The point is,
Come on.
give us a thumbs up and a like. If you show us you bought something through an affiliate link of ours, that's how you bribe us to get a T-shirt.
Yes.
Hit like right now. We'll give one person who likes this broadcast right now a T-shirt today. One of our casuals, or we got to restock on our original T-shirt as well. That did so well. So Jack says, typical Jazz. We get our hopes up. Why do we get our hopes? If I could read, that'd be better.
Yeah.
Typical Jazz fan. Why do we get our hopes up? Jesus Christ says, Eric is the bull in the china shop. Could be. The Jazz culture since I can remember. That's the Jazz culture since I can remember. Sit 99% of your young guys that aren't lottery picks. Well, and then bust on your lottery picks. Jeremy Bolton says, that's the Jazz that's a Jazz MO. If it's not Kleba or Bertans, then it's going to be Theo Pinson coming off the bench and scoring 30. My God, Jeremy. Mr. E says, and to think that the Jazz had a chance to draft Esmond Bain, but we saw future in Udoka Azubuike.
Yes.
Boy, what a mistake that was. Kirk Lazarus, good morning to you, Kirk, says, before breaking this team, I would love to see Ty Lue type coach, then can adjust and not play the system that everybody knows. So Ty Lue comes in. What is he going to do differently than Quin Snyder's doing? Because what are Ty Lue teams? No, they're 3-and-D teams. They play very small basketball. They have centers. They don't use them. So you want
The Clippers.
The Clippers. You want a coach that coaches the same style to come in. Now, they're better defensively. By the way, they also have Paul George, one of the best shooters in the NBA.
Kawhi Leonard.
Well, when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I think you're, it is what it is. Kirk, I hear what you're saying. Crypto Dolphin Super Bowl.
Okay.
Who the f*** is that guy?
That's not on your birth certificate, sir. The warning sign was on the wall in February when it was losing to teams like Detroit, Houston, and blowing big leads to them. The red flags were already there. Why I'm not surprised.
Yep.
You should go back and listen to our shows from those days, Crypto. You'd enjoy those. I'm happy for my Grizz. They came back from both 26 down and again from 21 down. That's mental toughness that Utah needs. Facts. If you're Minnesota right now, my God. Greg Hawkins says Jazz need to improve their defense in like every game. Yes, they do. Yes, Greg. Jeremy Bolton says, I didn't see Tanner Plummer's comment. What he said. It's usually a cynical person, but I guess a positive spin on this is that losing, in fact, in the first round basically ensures the team will get blown up.
Well,
Jeremy Bolton says, Tanner, it sucks, but that's the mentality I'm at right now. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Guys. Jordan says, I'm rooting for the Celtics now. Fuck this.
bro, you're okay. Pause.
You know Gordon Hayward's not on the Celtics anymore.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Hold on. So wait. Jazz fans are now jumping off the Jazz train. Am I hearing this correctly?
Well, the train derailed. I think they were thrown off.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, if that's how it's going to be. Okay.
Like you jumping off
What?
the train. Like, see,
So if they
train
come back and win the
joke.
series, are you still a Celtics fan or?
Well, come on. How much crack have you smoked today?
They let you down.
Yeah, that's what they do. They let us down, and I look. I understand why you guys are upset. I get it, but
you
at the
said
same
the
time,
Jazz are going to come back and win the series.
yeah. No, I didn't say that. I said, what if they do?
So, for the record, Jake just predicted the Jazz were going to come back and
I did not.
Donnie, please.
win the Western Conference.
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie.
Spencer Morgan says Butler is the future at point guard. Maybe. If we go out in the first round, we need to shake up our roster, maybe even coaching, Jack says.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. Neville93 says Celtic fans are pussies.
Wow.
You're the weakest of the weak.
Giggity says, I saw Jazz fans excited to see Booker was out, thinking this was an opportunity to win the West.
Wow.
Oh, Giggity's back. Now, having said that, anybody see the Chicago Bulls? Caruso for
Alex
three!
Headband Caruso.
It's good!
What's an erection?
Tanner Plummer says bandwagon fans are not allowed here, Jordan McDonald.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, they are. Jeremy Bolton says, I'm 150% on the headband Caruso train. Dude gets 4.3 assists and 1.3 rebounds and 2 charges per game. What a goat.
Yes,
Finally.
dude. Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you.
I want better fucking execution.
You know,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bryce Jensen says, giggity back at it. Damn right. Shut the F up about Caruso. Jeremy Bolton says.
Wow.
All I have to say is he drew a charge and won the game for the Bulls. Suck it.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Man, I better hope he continues to play well or Bolton's getting over on him. Please, Alex Caruso, help me. Let's see. What is your name? Will DeThrill. Okay, welcome to the show, man. League wants Luka in the playoffs. Oh, stop. Are you kidding me? Please. I haven't read this comment. Please do not make this an officiating comment. Yes, it is. Jazz get fouls on every offensive pick, and Spencer pushes Donovan to the stands to get a layup. No call. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Jazz got so many. Do you know how many illegal screens Rudy Gobert sets? Do you know how many, like the Royce O'Neal run in the second quarter that wasn't called?
Let's settle this right now.
Those 4 plays alone should tell you the Jazz get calls.
Yeah.
Stop with that.
Yeah.
Come on now.
We're not going down that road.
Jordan McDonald says Caruso for Royce twice on Sunday, please.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bolton says, I'm sarcastically becoming a Bulls fan now. Thanks for that. I love it. Love it. Tanner Plummer, you're right, brother. Neville93 says.
Hey, guys.
What did Tanner say? Celtic fans are pussies. Well, that means that the Tangerine Twitter machine will probably grab them. Wow.
Bro.
Wow. Bryce Jensen. Bryce, you feeling all right, man? Bryce Jensen says everyone can suck Caruso's penis head.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow. All right. So, by the way, speaking of Suicide Watch, what if your boy loses again? What happens when Kevin Durant chokes away another one? He's no Alex Caruso.
What am I even supposed to do with that?
You should probably just move on.
What am I like? Come on.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, thanks, coach. Thanks.
You know, the Jazz have been neutered ever since the general manager re-signed Mike Conley and gave Rudy that huge contract. No athletes. Don't disagree with that. Do you trade Donovan for the first pick in the draft? BB says no.
No,
I'm good. Thanks.
Nah, I'm fine.
So let me see. Let me take a huge risk on a 7-foot white guy named Chet. And
He's gonna be good, dude.
No. You make my head hurt when you say stuff like
What
that.
the fuck are you talking about?
You think he's going to be good?
Yes.
Based on what?
Based on his body and his style of play.
Okay. He looks like E.T.
Right. So does Kevin Durant. And what is he?
Terrible.
Right.
Have you watched him recently? Well, at least he's playing.
Yeah.
That punk ass Booker's hurt.
Yeah, next question.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're 49 minutes into the show. We have about
Not 50, but 49.
49 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. 49 minutes. What
Right.
time is it? It is 7:30, 7:25. So we got like 20 minutes.
Right.
So what do you want to go to here? We could easily go to Donald Trump's chief of staff was
No,
registered to
no.
vote in 3 states.
Dude. We did Trump yesterday and everybody lost their shit.
By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene's testifying today to try and keep her seat in Congress. Nobody's going to watch that.
They
Nobody.
texted.
Yeah, they texted apparently.
No.
She's trying to deny that she sent out a message on Twitter using a code word that meant attack the Capitol.
Code word.
And she called for Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi to be assassinated.
This is a code 10 abort.
And she's saying she had nothing to do with the insurrection. All right, let's move on. By the way, oh, thank you. Yes, I am feeling better. I am feeling
Oh,
a little
yeah.
better.
How are you feeling today?
Admittedly, yesterday, so for those of you that are new to the show, I've had some traumatic intestinal issues. I had a terrible case of food poisoning.
Oh, okay. Tell the story. Recap story real quick for all the new people. Just
Okay,
real quick.
so we went to Mastro's Ocean Club in Newport Beach,
Yeah.
which is my favorite steakhouse, arguably my favorite steak location in the country.
And that's just for Easter.
This was for Easter dinner. And I had a dry-aged New York strip. And it cored that butthole out. Like, that was Sunday at 4:30. I ate it. Monday morning at 12:30, so just after midnight, I was in the bathroom throwing up, powerful hurling. It was terrible. Monday morning at 2:30 a.m., I was in the bathroom again, throwing up, and then butt mudding. And it just never stopped. Like my neck feels better today. I threw up so powerfully that the muscles in my neck were strained.
Damn.
I was fine by like Tuesday morning. So all the explosive happenings in my butt were pretty much done. So somebody in my life decided it'd be a good idea to go get some tacos for lunch on Tuesday.
Hey, guys.
I again commenced to shit myself for an entire day. To the point where I woke up in the middle of the night with violent projectile offloading. to the extent that I took a shower when I was done.
Oh.
And yes, there was some remnants going down the drain.
Bro.
It was brutal.
Dude, that is rough.
I could not do the show. I guess what day was that?
Tuesday.
No, Wednesday.
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday morning. That was Tuesday overnight. Wednesday morning, I just had no energy. I couldn't even get out of bed. So I didn't do the show Wednesday. And then yesterday, I slow rolled it. I had some oatmeal. I had some toast, a little bit of yogurt. Everything was much better.
Right.
And so now, yesterday afternoon, Jake's like, well, hey, why don't we get a breakfast burrito for lunch? And I, of course, said, sure, let's do it.
I don't get down like that.
So I ate the breakfast burrito.
Which was bomb, I thought. But,
It upset my stomach. And then I took a poop. And it was oddly solid.
We're back, baby.
There is no better feeling than when you have been battling the butt mud.
The butt mud.
The stinky sludge. Like,
yeah.
When you've been battling that.
Yeah.
And then you put out a solid poop.
Yeah.
The feeling, the exhilaration. Man, that was awesome.
So now today, how are you feeling?
I actually don't feel well. I feel dehydrated. My stomach's upset. Damn. I was super hungry this morning when I woke up. But right now, my stomach's upset. I've been trying to drink water. I haven't been drinking like energy drinks. I think probably some of it is I have a caffeine withdrawal right now because I have not been drinking energy drinks that I usually drink. So,
damn.
But we're all right. We're living it.
No taco surf on this trip, bro.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Destroys Atheism says that's spicy chorizo. Yay. No. Put some hot sauce on my burrito, baby. Nope. The roster must be drained and refilled with real athletes, kind of like my butt. Okay, wait. Cody Strickland says, what the F? I didn't get a ring ding on your show that was going live. Hey, man, I appreciate you subscribing and hitting the bell. Jesus Christ Destroy says, oh, no, not a taco burrito thing. Yeah, we did. Monty, fix your intestines with pineapple. I suggest pizza and pineapple. You might not like it. Oh, I love pineapple on pizza. I love pineapple on pizza.
Don't put pepperoni on your pizza, dude.
Please don't. Part 2.0 of that pooping chat. That's right. Jeremy Bolton says poop drain. Yeah, dude. I didn't poop in the shower, but man, that rinse down the legs was.
Oh, dude, stop.
You put some onion particle down the drain, and you start to wonder how much.
Wow, Dad. Wow.
Dude.
Yeah, it's
that's
brutal.
Gnarly, man.
And then today is the rehearsal dinner at the crib.
Oh boy.
So, by
It's
the way,
fucking vernal equinox.
Let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
we still have not gotten bucket of
We're
bullets.
not getting dude
a
a gift. We're not doing it. I won't allow it. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I won't allow it.
I'm making an executive decision for the team. We cannot get dude a gift.
Who the fuck are you, a prison warden? What do you
Yeah.
mean you won't allow it?
Yeah, I am.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Yeah,
I
come on,
shit
dude.
onion particles.
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, I am. Dude, you can't be serious that you want to get dude a gift.
Want is not the word that I would use.
Okay, well, why do you have to get him one?
Because, Jake, he is, in all of his do not step on me bullshit, whatever it is, in all of his Donnie-isms, in all of his woman-hating, life-hating stuff, he's part of the family.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
Fuck out of here.
You're not at
No.
all into it.
No.
What about
No.
what about Grandma?
She got a gift. Our time and her bachelorette.
Oh, sorry.
No, dude, I'm sorry. Like, it's not my place to say one or the other on whether this is a good or not marriage, even though it's not. But you know,
Wow.
no,
Okay.
dude, I'm sorry. I'm not.
So you're not willing to do it at all.
Well, like, what would even be an option? I seriously, like, I would go to the gun store and get the guy ammunition, but he's got a whole bucket at home. He doesn't
Yeah.
need that. Like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to be excited about this tonight? Am I supposed to be like thrilled that we like? No. Why am I excited about this? Help me understand.
Because it's your grandma and look, here's the question. All right, let's just be brutally honest about this. And I would love to hear from you guys on this. Is it more important to have companionship or to be in love? Because I think this question is, especially for, I think, millennials, and Gen Zers, I'm curious, like, is it more important to have a good friend or to be in love?
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
In terms of marriage, because here's my firm belief. So for those of you that are new to the show, and I know we have a lot of new listeners, my mother-in-law lost her husband 10 years ago. More than that now, 13 years ago. And she's been single since.
Right.
She's sporadically gone on a sort of date here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of jumped headfirst into the dating pool, and she's all about twerking. But the first guy she meets, she essentially is marrying this guy.
Yeah.
And they've only known each other for like 4 or 5 months. And so my firm belief is, and I still believe it to this day, watching the way they interact and how different they are philosophically as human beings.
Yeah.
I think they're at an age, her soon-to-be husband's 80 years old. She is in her late 70s. I think they're at a place in life where they don't want to be alone. They don't want to die alone. And I think they took the first great thing that came along. His wife died less than a year ago now.
Yeah.
So he's still mourning that death.
Which I think is weird.
He has openly said he is expecting my mother-in-law to help him mourn.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
My mother-in-law is a progressive thinker. I would not call her a Democrat. I would call her more of a progressive in that she believes in women's rights. He does not. She believes in a woman's right to choose. He does not.
U.S. Americans.
He is wholeheartedly pro-Trump, and she is not. He is, for instance, he loves big game hunting and does not believe in endangered species. Something my mother-in-law is passionate about.
Yeah.
He does not care about other people even a little bit. My mother-in-law is a very caring person. They're not together because they're philosophically aligned and they met their soulmates. They're together because they're scared of being alone at the end of their lives. So is it worth it? And I mean, listen, I'm 49. I hopefully I haven't even lived half my life yet. But I'm 49. I can't imagine spending my life, whether it's 8 years, a year, 100 years, with somebody I was not in love with.
Well, and I think the thing about this particular situation that I think has a lot of people in the family spooked about it is, like, there's no reason for them to get married. That's
None.
the thing. There's no There is no, like, it doesn't help financially. It doesn't, like, there's no reason for it. And I think that I don't want to go down the path of motives or anything, but I really do feel like a lot of this is just vanity, and that's the problem I have with it. So, when you're looking for, a relationship, or not to be single, I guess, or not to be alone, yeah, sure, age plays a factor, but are you really telling me that you have to get married? Like, I just don't think that it is necessary. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's easier not to get married, which tells me the only reason you're getting married is for the vanity of it.
Yeah,
respectfully.
and I think my mother-in-law loves that kind of attention. She loves the, hey, look at me, give me wedding gifts, come to my wedding shower, come to my wedding.
Let me wear my veil or whatever you call it into an establishment to have my bachelorette dinner. Like,
yeah, let me be the center of it. My mother-in-law is very vain. My mother-in-law is very much an attention seeker. So I agree with that. I don't get me wrong, my wife and I are very different on a lot of things. I think that the key to a good relationship, in my opinion, is being able to have diverse opinions and experiences, but you can bring those together. You can talk about those things. You can enjoy those things about each other. I think when you're in a relationship, I've been married for over 20 years, you realize that every day is not a day that you love your spouse. You choose to be in love. You're not always in love. And that's the key to a good marriage. You understand at some point, you're not fighting over toothpaste anymore, right? You choose your battles. These two are just diametrically opposed on things, and I just don't see how that can work. I really don't. So, do you value a relationship more, or do you value being with the right one? Greg Hawkins always has wise words.
Yes, thank you,
Says,
Greg.
my girl and I are basically opposites, and we've been together for close to 5 years. We love each other, and we're friends too. I don't know if we'd be together if we weren't so different. That's interesting.
If you don't mind me asking, and I don't need every example or specifics, but like, what would be a general difference you guys have? Like, would it be politics, or would it be relationship to money? Would it be, just like some of those things in life that we deal with? What are some of those differences? Because the differences that these two have are definitely, like he was just saying, political. I would also say the way they've lived their life is very, very different. I think that, the way they go about things in the day-to-day is a bit different. So I'm just curious, Greg, what are the differences for you and yours?
Oddly, he's from Utah, by the way. The man my mother-in-law is marrying is from Utah, Ogden. He lives here, though, in SoCal. Tanner says, random question. Uh-oh. Are you guys filming in a basement or something? No, we're in a garage in Huntington.
Hey,
Beach.
guys.
Thanks for asking. Fat Jesus says, maybe they don't believe in premarital sex. Well, it's funny you bring that up. Because my mother-in-law is notorious for not allowing people to sleep in the same room in her house who are not married.
Yeah.
And so she got actually hard stopped on that because she's been doing that for
decades.
Yeah. So I think older people also have different views towards marriage in general. I would agree with that.
Like what though? Like what? Because so this is the balls of the conversation. I feel like the whole dynamic here, and this is something that hasn't been admitted by either of them. In my opinion, it hasn't been admitted where they've just said, "Well, we just want to get married because we want to get married." Like the whole narrative has been, well, we're in love and time is short, and yeah. And it's like, no, dude, that's not you. I just don't buy it. Like, maybe I'm cynical, maybe I'm not open to it, but I don't feel like that's the true reason.
No, I think she's marrying this particular dude because she wants to be important to somebody. And I think he's marrying my mother-in-law because he wants a nursemaid. He wants somebody to, he's not going to be well. He's 80 years old, and he is every day of 80 years old.
Yeah.
He limps around. He is an older man. Like, he's going to spend a lot of time sitting in a chair in his older age. And he is going to need somebody to take care of him. And I think that's what my mother-in-law represents to him. And I've told him that. I don't see then why. I straight up have asked him, why are you in such a hurry? Because I don't like the guy at all. If you're not new to the show, if you watch the show, you know that.
He just has bad vibes. That's the thing.
He does.
He doesn't. Like, again, yesterday on the show, we had talked about how last weekend during Easter, before we went to Mastros, there was a little Easter get-together. We were watching hoops and talking to some family, and it was great. And then dude was sitting at the kitchen table, and grandma comes in and is like, hey, let's go outside and talk to everybody. He's like, no, he just refuses to do it. Like, he just does not care about being social or, interacting.
Erich Severa says, Jake and Durant is a good marriage that will end in breakup through text.
Well.
Wow. Look at Erich coming after you.
Yeah, well, hey,
are you kidding me?
The first thing I have to say is thanks for listening for so long. I appreciate that, number one.
They texted.
Yeah, they did.
Number two, that was a learning period in my life.
Yeah.
And,
He broke up with you over text message?
Unfortunately, things happen, and,
Jake broke up with his last serious living girlfriend over text.
Okay, you
message.
make it
He
sound like
texted
I
her.
killed somebody.
You
What do you
did.
mean living girlfriend? They're all living. I didn't kill anybody.
Live in. You lived inside her womb.
So
lived
get your
in.
facts straight.
Yeah, you lived in her.
Wow.
And you broke up with her over text while you were in her womb. I believe.
Good.
You were texting her while you were procreating,
Right.
saying that this is
Right,
terrible. The sex
right.
is not good. He's from Ogden. Nothing against Ogden, but that explains a lot. Tanner says exactly.
Dude, seriously.
Greg Hawkins says we have differences in politics, religion, and culture. She's Filipina and I'm American, and that makes things really complicated sometimes. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It does. Tanner says it's all good, Jake. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet Guy doesn't want to talk to you and Mini-Me and hear the uneducated comments, Ruff's official says.
Well, first of all,
Mini-Me.
welcome back to the show.
Ruff's official, yeah.
First
Welcome
of
back.
all.
We're so happy to see you.
Second of all,
Thanks for being here.
Actually, what happened was the first time we ever met him, we had an hour-long discussion where we proceeded to ask him difficult questions, go back and forth about political views, and then he left. So, yeah.
And the second time we saw him, we bought him dinner at Morton's, the steakhouse.
Where he was an absolute prick.
And spilled his drink, and then came home, got off the party bus we all rented.
No, he never even got on the party bus.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he did. He got on the party bus, went to Morton's, spilled his drink, made an ass of himself toasting, got off the party bus, got in his Camry, and
they
left.
both left. That's right.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
He's not.
Stop disrespecting me, bro.
He ain't here for that.
Yeah.
And Garcia says, me and the wife, 100% different in every way imaginable, and we've been together almost 15 years, I think. Wow, that's awesome. Being different from your significant other helps keep life interesting
But look,
and fun.
and I don't disagree, but there's a line, as there is with everything.
Yes.
And I don't think that a woman who her entire life has been, a California hippie, free goer type person is all of a sudden going to marry a Trump supporting, animal killing, no consideration for the environment type person.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's, you can't tell me that is.
Who's pining over his deceased wife and wants you to take care of him for the rest of his life.
And you moved into his place. Like, I don't know, man. The feel of it for me is just weird.
Cody Strickland says, Jake, how's the girlfriend? When's the baby due?
Bro, not soon enough, right? No, the girlfriend's good, dude. Yeah, girlfriend's really good. She's pissed that she wasn't able to come on the trip because she had to work, but, it is what it is, right?
Big Dog O-Town.
Yeah.
Says, been divorced 20 plus years. Been in 5 to 6 relationships after the divorce.
Shout to Mobamba.
Don't think anywhere after the marriage were love convinced only I live in Ogden, so don't hate.
Do you really live in Ogden?
Well, O-Town. And Garcia says, shout out to O-Town.
Yeah.
Shout to Mobamba.
Jeremy Bolton says, I'm whatever my wife says I am. What if she screams for Alex Caruso during your planting of the garden?
Go Hawks.
If she starts calling you AC, just know it's not good. What's the first round exit? What a first round exit for Utah, Louis Diaz says. Maybe, maybe not. All right, so should I eat today?
I don't know. I
'Cause
mean,
we gotta-
I don't have any ability to understand really how you're to the level of intensity as to how you're feeling. It's hard to kind of quantify. But I would tell you that if you're not feeling 100%,
A hundo P.
like or close to it, or you're not feeling improved, then you just don't want to feel crappy all weekend.
No, I don't.
Like on the way home on Sunday, you don't want to feel crappy because what time are we gonna leave Sunday?
As early as my wife will get out of bed. I would love to leave at like 4 a.m.
So we leave at 4 a.m. Like you just don't want to feel crappy that's a long drive, man.
Yeah, it is a long drive. And we're doing it all the way through this time. We're not stopping halfway.
Yeah. So even if we leave at 4 a.m., we're going to get home at like 2.
I'm amazed how many people are like, yeah, diversity is important. Differences can attract, K. Nurin says.
Look, okay, so I want to be really clear on this point. I'm not saying that the relationship is going to fail or it's not going to work out. What I am saying is that I feel like they jumped the gun and they're just taking the first thing presented to them.
Ooh. Normal fart just happened. For the first time in a while. Celebrate the small wins. Yeah, baby. Anyway,
wow.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Okay, I'd like to play this drop one more time. And I just want people to appreciate the echo at the end of this drop from the fart. Just listen to this.
Wow. Hey, thanks for contributing to the show. That fart smells like Caruso's headband.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually smell like anything, at least not for me. Well, Monty, if you don't want to go to the wedding, you can use the food poisoning as an excuse. True.
Yeah, I'm just going to be in the garage breaking down the set the whole time the wedding's happening.
You need Chipotle with a Hot Pocket
That's
chaser.
what I'm...
Jesus,
Jesus. Did I not say like 4 times this week that you should have a light dose of Chipotle? Like some rice, maybe some beans, little veg.
Dude, I just celebrated my first normal fart. And
yeah.
You want me to be eating
And what does a normal
Mexican food.
fart look like? Is it dryness? Is it power? What are we
well,
talking
one that
about?
welled up in your intestines and didn't result in a moist expenditure. You know what I'm saying? Normal fart just happens. Celebrate good times. Come on. Exactly right. And Garcia says live on YouTube, risky stuff, Monty. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I don't know what I'm going to eat today. I'd love to have some Jack before we go home because I never get Jack in the Box, but it's a long drive. Maybe Jack in St. George. That way it's only 3 hours of
pain train.
You know.
You don't think you're equipped to have Jack today?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. All right, play the music. We got to go. Greg Hawkins wants to know what the hell we're listening to. Yeah, I don't know, Greg. I'm not sure. All right, we'll be back Monday morning. Will the Jazz still be an NBA playoff team in any way, shape, or
if
form?
the Jazz lose Saturday, please hold it together until Monday. Please.
Yeah. That could be an ugly show Monday. If they're down 3-1, that could be ugly.
Yeah.
And Garcia says, don't forget to bring one of everything. Okay. There you go. This show has gone off the rails for like 2 weeks now, LOL.
Yes, sir.
Exactly right. Until Monday, may you live happily ever after. Say goodbye, Jake.